Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today. I'm Nathan Hager, joined by Bloomberg's Valerie Teitel as we watch stocks move on earnings, including red headlines just crossing the Bloomberg terminal. Valerie, on Uber. Take us through it. Good morning.
It's looking like a fairly positive one for Uber. Shares are up almost 4% so far in pre-market trade. Seems like the third quarter gross bookings came in above expectations, and there's also a redhead crossing the terminal that Uber is to buy up an additional $20 billion worth in shares. So it seems like a beat for Uber. I think investors will also be looking out for any details of Uber's partnership with Alphabet's Waymo on the autonomous vehicle expansion. I see nothing yet on the terminal about those kind of numbers, but it's taking these results are taken very positively by the market. Uber is up 2% so far in pre-market trade.
Now, it seems like the earnings are being taken less positively from the standout that's reporting among all the companies that are scheduled to post their results today, and that would be Disney this morning.
Disney this morning is down around 2%. Now, this is a long one to explain because there's various things being announced aside from earnings, but there is some disappointment in the earnings, so let's start there. Even though they raised their profit forecast above estimates, it seems like the focus on revenue from conventional TV networks and sports programming has fallen a bit short of Wall Street expectations, despite the strong performance in the company's theme parks and the streaming business. But there's also separately been an announcement that Disney's ESPN and the NFL's media assets will be somewhat, they'll be increasing their tie-up with the NFL acquiring a 10% stake in ESPN sport business. So originally, these shares were up as much as 4.4% on this tie-up with NFL, but that seems like it's been overshadowed with the disappointment in the earnings, and those shares are now down around 1%. So it's been a wild ride for Disney, and it's not even 7 a.m.
I know, no kidding. Now, in terms of some of the stocks that reported results after the close yesterday, two of the standouts there are just getting hammered this morning.
Yeah, let's start with AMD. Those shares are down nearly 7% in pre-market trade. It seems like the stock is drifting lower over the hours. This is the world's second largest chip maker, and the disappointment here came around their China revenue guidance. The CEO, and during the whole conference call, analysts repeatedly asked for a specific outlook on how much China AI revenue the company will get and when. They were unable to answer that. So we're a bit more pessimistic on getting these export licenses in order to export their China-specific chip back into the Chinese market. AMD did not include any China chip revenue in its guidance, and so there's some disappointment off the back of that, despite there being a beat and a higher than expected forecast behind it.
Okay, and even worse performance, it seems, for Supermicro Computer. That stock is tanking this morning.
Yeah, Supermicro down 17%, Nathan, in pre-market trade. Now, Supermicro sells AI servers and hardware to hyperscalers. There was some disappointment when it came to guidance. They lowered their revenue forecast to the range of around $33 billion. And compare that to their bullish forecast they gave back in February of around $40 billion. It's disappointing the market this morning. Now, Supermicro shares have surged around 90% so far this year on optimism that it would benefit from soaring demand for AI gear. One of their main clients is the likes of NVIDIA. But instead, it seems like the results today have raised some questions about its ability to capitalize on the demand for artificial intelligence equipment with the latest round of CapEx spending. They've also been struggling a bit on margins. So seeming like this very competitive landscape, some are suffering, some are winning. Supermicro is to the downside and that guy's down 17% in pre-market trade on this disappointment.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.